Good morning. On behalf of the congregation, I'd like to welcome you all. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce Wendy Paxton, who is our new financial director, who took over for Mikhail Wilson, who resigned because of illness.
Thank you. Glad to be here, and I know I've only been in the role a couple weeks, and Glenda has definitely been very gracious in showing me the books and all of what's going on with that. So I'll give my short kind of brief report. The beginning balance that we had was $99,561, and we did have receipts during September of $20,091. And that includes regular offerings of $12,182 and non-budgeted receipts of $7,908. And we earned a whole whopping 70 cents in interest too. So for the month of September, we did have disbursements of $22,115, and that left our ending balance at $97,537. Of this amount, $66,786 is held in designated funds, and that leaves our checking account balance on September 30th at $30,751. Any questions on the report? Okay. I'm going to learn more about what's going on with the finances right now. Like I said, I've had 2 weeks in and about a 15-minute introduction, but I look forward to being on the board and working with all of you. Thank you.
Before we call up the next elder, a couple weeks ago, at our last congregational meeting, Mikhail said that the building fund went towards paying some of our bills. This is not correct. The building fund goes directly to the building fund, not the mortgage. It goes to the mortgage. It does not go in to pay any of our bills. I had a couple questions on that, so I thought I'd make that clear. So, elders report.
Good morning. I'm going to read the unapproved minutes from October 4th, and I think very comfortable up here, Wendy. For 2 weeks, that's pretty good. I'm still not comfortable. Nice touch, Fred. Okay. We had our opening prayer on October 4th. Fred Wass did the devotions, and everyone was present except for Ron Jonas. Not good. Okay. No, he didn't? Oh my gosh. Yeah. And we read the minutes from September 7th. We discussed attendance as we always do, and I'm really surprised because I thought, we discussed this last year, that even up until now, we would still have a lot of people not attending because of the COVID. And yes, we do have some people that are holding out, but wow, I can't believe it. I think we had a little over 90 today. And a touchy subject, the parking lot is full. So, yeah. And we also talked about how we could shorten the worship service. That was a discussion. So, yeah. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. Then we had the pastor's report. We had no transfers in, no transfers out. Our membership for 2021 was 203. Confirmed members are 195. Our next meeting is November 1st, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Devotions by Kurt Nelson, and we close at 7 p.m. with the Lord's Prayer. Any questions? Thank you. No, we knew where he was. Okay. Thank you.
Trustees report.
I was ringing. I wasn't hiding, I was ringing over there with ringers. Okay, the handicap door openers have been installed, so note that it's easier to push the button to get in or get out, because the doors are kind of heavy when you try to push them. The parking lot has been sealed, and the striping will be done when we get some dry enough weather long enough to paint. And that's really all I have, but I want to thank everyone who helped on the harvest dinner, whether it be cooking, praying, shopping, cleaning, selling tickets. There's a whole bunch of things that everybody did, and I really appreciate it. We made a little over $1,000. Thank you. That money goes to buy... No, not the Ron Jonas account. If anyone, it's my account. But it goes, we usually purchase script cards for Home Depot and for the gas stations to keep up the maintenance on this place. So thank you very much. And now, does anyone have any questions? I need someone to make a motion to accept my report. Opposed? Motion carried.
I only got 2 more months. Trustees report. Our stewardship report.
Before I get into my brief but spectacular report, I'd like to make a couple comments. I hope all of you know that on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we have a Bible study back there. It's a little different than the one that you get during the week. Pastor researches and gets different stories from the Bible, of course, and gives us a choice of what we'd like to learn. We had one on the intersection of church and state. We had one on Joseph the carpenter. Right now, we're learning about the scary things in Revelations. Reverend Kloss is quite a humor. He's the moderator on the video. Some of us think he's kind of like Santa Claus, and he makes us laugh. As we're learning through the class, Revelations isn't near as scary as we thought it was. But for me, the very best class was the past one on Noah, the man, the ark, the flood. I learned a lot, as did I think a lot of other people. How Noah must have put up with all those unbelievers who ridiculed everything he did when it came to making that ark. How Noah must have known how to build, because he made that humongous ark without a Makita battery-operated drill. But what really got me was, how did Noah, his wife, sons and daughter-in-laws feel when God slammed that door shut? It gave me goosebumps. We also laugh, and Pastor lets us laugh. One of our members, whose name I probably shouldn't say, but it's called Tom, said that, yeah, most of us are kind of old, But we laugh, and we're not stodgy. Pastor Art almost had us rolling in the aisles the other day when he made a comment about wives and who gets the last piece of pie. I'd like to encourage each and every one of you who is free on Wednesday night to drop in about 7 o'clock and see what this class is all about. I think it's wonderful. My second comment is, look at what all you people did. There are approximately 8,000, my husband and I tried to count them, pieces of candy in there. They will be distributed this afternoon by various members of this congregation to the children in the neighborhood. I think it's an awesome mission, and with God's help, we can do it. Now for my spectacular report. The Stewardship Committee is planning to take coffee and cookies to the Metro Police Departments and the Mundy Fire Department on November 11th as a thank you for all the things they do for our community. Rite Aid will have a clinic on November 14th from 1 until 5. The pharmacist said that they are offering booster shots, or the third shot, for all 3 vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J. He's hoping that by the 14th of November, there's no age limit, that everybody who wants a vaccine can have it. There's a table on the east wing here of the narthex with some sign-up sheets. If you're interested in the vaccine, if you're interested in a flu shot, if you're interested in a shingle shot, please sign up, take a date, a time, and tell us what shot you would like. The COVID vaccine is free, but flu and shingles, you do need to have insurance and need to bring your insurance card. There will be a pie social on Thanksgiving Eve, which I believe is November 24th. We've done it forever. I hope we do it forever. Decorating the church will be on December 3rd. Plans are still being made, so you'll learn more information at a later date, and it will be in the news and notes in your bulletin, so I'd like to encourage you to read it. Today's the day. Happy Halloween. Trick or treat is this afternoon from 3 until 5. It'll be an outdoor drive-through coming in Maple, going around the building, and out Van Slyke. I think we have about 18 people that have signed up for candy. We have plenty to help them with what they don't have enough of. The setup time will be directly after the voters' meeting and after fellowship hour is done. You can set up a table and hand it out of the table, or if you can get one of those 8 parking spaces, you can hand it out of your car. But I think most of you saw what happened to our front yard. The yard off of this asphalt is just too soft to drive on. So if we have to use any grass, you'll just have to have seats and a table. I'm sorry, but that's life. We will be handing out donuts from Spicer Orchard. They should arrive at any time. I believe there are 20 dozen. We are putting them in a Ziploc baggie and handing them out in the baggie. So as soon as those donuts arrive, I'm going to have to ask for volunteers to help put 240 donuts in 240 Ziploc bags. We're going to try to do it back in the quilting area. So if you're able to help fill bags, we would greatly appreciate it. After the trunk or treat tonight, and when everything is cleaned up, we're going to have a debriefing back by the fire pit. Again, we won't be able to drive, but hopefully anyone who's interested can be there. We have hot dogs and a few snacks. Are there any questions? Because I make up really good answers. That's my report. Thank you.
All in favor? Opposed? Education report.
Good job, Bonnie. That was a good report. Mine is also short and sweet. So I just want to begin by saying that we are still planning a children's Christmas program. If those of you that attended last year, you saw that it was mostly virtual. We are not trying to make it a virtual service this year, but we do need to see some little ones so they can start practicing the songs. So please bring those little ones if you can. The actual program is scheduled for December 12th. And we are going to be doing a full rehearsal that Saturday before. It will probably be pretty much all morning into the early afternoon to try and make sure we have that service ready. We are also going to try and put our chimes back together. Linda Weston informs me we need 11, right? 11. We try to make this an opportunity for anyone that doesn't participate in the bell choir. The chimes is something you'll see more of the younger ones in, but we will have anybody that wants to be involved in chimes. If you would like to be part of that, please let me know, because we are short on the number. I did the count, and we need at least 2 or 3 more to be part of chimes. So please, if that interests you, let us know. Our next meeting for education and stewardship, we meet together now, is going to be this Thursday at 11 o'clock. So if anybody would like to participate in our meetings, I know that's going to be very informative with the holidays coming close. So that is my report. Any questions for me? Yes, Tom? For the Children's Christmas program? We are all children at heart. If anybody would like to participate, I'm sure we can find a spot in the service for you. Yeah, yes. Tom, you got it. Any other questions? That's a good one, Tom. All right, thank you, everybody. Papa?
Motion made, is there support? All in favor? Opposed? Pastor's report.
You turn my mic on? First of all, I have to do this. Hi there. My name's Pastor Mark. It's nice to meet you. We welcome everybody here, people that look normal, and well, I love this guy. All right. I originally wasn't gonna talk about this, but Irv mentioned it, so I'll talk about it. Occasionally at the elders' meetings, we talk about the length of service. I personally don't get a lot of feedback telling me that the service is too long. I initiated the discussion because I think that some of you may be concerned. There's one of a couple that talk to me in joking and maybe not so much in joking. I respect your time. I'm not the kind of guy that says, well, you'll just have to sit till it's done. I'm not. But there's certain things I believe should be part of worship. And so I'm struggling with a bit of a balance on how to work that out. Obviously, we want scripture readings. Those need to be in there. Most people, even in the Lutheran Church, don't read their Bible during the week. We need those 3 readings just to get you in the Word, especially the one that's going to be preached on. We need prayer. One of the ways that we could cut back is the announcements, and I've tried to do that. But I find I have to make some announcements because people don't look at the news and notes. And I have people, an event will happen and say, I didn't know about it. So I do announce certain things at the beginning of service. I also like to thank people. It's important that we have an attitude of thanks here. And so I'll use those announcements to thank people for what they're doing and to raise awareness that there's things to be done and you're appreciated when you do them. One of the ways we could cut back is the sharing of the peace. I've heard that. We gather here as God's family. I think it's important that we share that fellowship and friendship when we begin service. Now, I know at times it can go on too long, especially if I get waylaid somewhere along the way, but I'm hesitant to cut that out entirely because I think it creates the atmosphere that we want, that we are all God's children, and we are a big, happy family, and we love one another. And if you come in here and you don't have a loving attitude, chances are by the time sharing of the fellowship is over, you may be headed that way. Holy Spirit does that. We share the same Spirit. I believe that's an important part of worship. Children's message. I try to cut that back. Sometimes that goes along too long. And then there's the sermon, right? Nobody can shut the pastor up. 22 minutes the sermon was today. With Reformation and all the bells and whistles, we went 22 minutes past 11 o'clock. Not bad for a Reformation service. I want you to know that I'm working on it. I do need your input, your honest input. I don't want people not to come because service is too long. However, I've heard time and again from people, they come, they sit through service, and then they're here for another hour in the fellowship hall. How anxious were they to really get home? Many people, this is their only contact with the Word during the week. 1 hour and 22 minutes. Is it that big of a sacrifice of your time? Your pastor will try to honor your time by making it as short as possible, but on the other hand, well, there's this. If we quit coming up to the rail, if we did what's called drive-by communion, where you walk up and I got a tray and Ron's got a tray, you take the body, you take the blood and go sit back down, we would probably be close to being done at 5 or 10 after. Communion is a big chunk of time. But as my brother Kurt Nelson once said, do we really want to rush through that part of service? That's what you came for. Lutheran service has 2 humps. The smaller one is the sermon. The bigger one is the body and blood of the Lord. That's why you're here, is to receive his body and blood. Should we really rush through that? Or is it good, right, and salutary to gather at the rail as if at a table and receive his body and blood in that manner? I think it is. So there's some thoughts with me on the worship service. That's kind of where I stand. If you have any opinions, I would love to hear from them, yay or nay, good or bad. If you don't want to tell them to me, see Ron Jonas, see one of the elders, Irv Glenn, communicate to them. I need input. But that's kind of where I'm struggling with it, and I just want you to know that I do care, and I am working on it. You might have seen, any of you that really know the liturgy, there were some things missing today that are normally there. And that's okay. Okay, I'll have that check for you right after service in my office. No, thank you, brother. I appreciate that input. I do. I do. Yes, sir. Oh.
One of the things that I've heard from various sources, like from pastors and things like that, is what exactly is more important in your life? Is the Word of God the most important thing? If so, why is the length of service need to be shorter? What is so important that you have to rush away from here for? This is the most important thing to happen every week. Going to dinner, you're fed here, the important thing. Jesus said to the devil that bread isn't the most important thing, that the Word of God is what you need in you. So shortening that to go to dinner or to go watch television or go see a movie or talk with your friends, I think that trying to shorten this isn't the most important thing that we should be focusing on.
Thank you. Except to get you out of here on time to go to Myers so I can go shop. That's important. Just kidding, brother. Yes?
My kind of want to echo what Mike just said. Scrapbookers meet here one day a month. We get here at 10, and we stick around until 9. We talk, we eat, we goof around, we have a great time. Church is an hour and a half at max. How many watched Michigan get whooped yesterday? How long did you sit there and watch that game? How long do you sit there and watch the Lions praying they're going to win? Church is oh so much important. It's only an hour and a half at the max.
Know, I work for the Department of Corrections, and to have him here tell me that we need to pray for prisoners. Some of the guys that I deal with every day, I don't want to pray for them. And that's my internal struggle. And if, like I said, an hour and a half, an hour, whatever, it's not always runs late. But there are a lot of us that don't get to come every week. Chrissy here, she's been a godsend because she keeps me informed what's going on the days I can be here. And I do try to come on some things during the week, but to shorten that, I don't want to be cheated. And that's not fair to me. I mean, I understand people that has their time. But I look forward to this every other week. I mean, I really do. And I can't wait to be here. Chrissy knows. I wasn't born a Lutheran. But she brought me to faith, and being Native American, there's the struggle there. But to shorten those services for people that can't be here all the time, I think that would be a disservice to the entire congregation, because we have to be stewards. And how can I be a steward to inmates who've committed some of the worst atrocities known to man and not be fulfilled by it? And I have to be re-encouraged and strengthened by that every other week. So I think it would be wrong to shorten it or to take away from people who, truly want to be here.
Thank you. The one fear that I have is that you will walk into church looking like you are now, and if I keep you here too long, you'll walk out looking like this guy. I love you, man.
Just try to.
All right, let's leave Fred Hill alone now. I will pay for it in the future, won't I, Fred? The only other thing I wanted to talk to you about, unless you have questions for me, which is fine, is what we call a new task force. It's Stewards by God's Grace Task Force. It was an outcome of our Stewardship by God's Design program that was a couple weeks ago. You remember Rick Wolfram preached here? It was an outcome of that whole weekend. It's a group of people that is meeting to help us continue to encourage an attitude of stewards and being managers of God's gracious gifts throughout this congregation, throughout our time here. The members are Tom Hansen, Ron Jonas, Bonnie Peedy, Chrissy Cates, Faith Moss, and Jerry Prosh. I don't think I missed anybody else, did I? Okay. Hey, Bill, are you taking them home? Are they going to stay for trunk or treat, or do we have to go back and pick them up? Okay, and then we can go pick him up again? Okay, very good. Just wanted to check. Sorry to interrupt my meeting or my thing, but John, if need be, can you get them before trunk or treat? Thank you very much. Those are the members, but it's not just them. If you wanted to be part of our Stewards by God's Design Task Force, it would be welcome. We're just troubleshooting, and we're encouraging, and we're looking for ways to encourage this attitude of being managers of God's gracious gifts. One of the things we did come up with, we met this past Thursday, was to have a Bible study on being stewards and managers once a month. Reverend Wolfram gave us this Bible study, but we don't just want it to be a Bible study, because let's face it, I struggle to get people to come to just a normal Bible study, even our Wednesday night one. Ideally, what a pastor should shoot for is every member to be in Bible study. if not here, in your homes, gathered with other people. Certainly reading on your own devotionally, but gathered with other like-minded Christians. Every single person. I don't know that I will get that before I finally retire or God takes me home, but that's the aim. So, in order to get you guys here, we're going to have an activity. There'll be food, and we're looking for some kind of an activity that you can come and enjoy. So Saturday, the third Saturday of each month is what we're planning, and that would mean the first one will be in January, the third Sunday in January. We're going to have a movie. Not really sure what we're going to watch. Maybe The First Rosa, maybe Luther, but we'll have a movie that you can see. We'll have snacks, and we'll have this Bible study. And I'm hoping I can encourage a few more of you to come. It's not going to be a whole time where I tell you, give more money, give more money. It's a time where we notice all of the gracious gifts God has given us and ask Him to help us to be better managers of it. Our next meeting of this Stewardship by God's Design Task Force will be December 2nd on Thursday, if you'd like to come. One last thing, holiday service is coming up. There'll be the Thanksgiving Eve service on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on November 24th. And then the next 3 Wednesdays after that will be Advent services, also at 7. Our theme will be Symbols of Salvation. We're going to look back at some Old Testament passages that foreshadow and describe who Christ would be and why He came. And that's all I have for today, unless you have some questions for me. Brave man. You know, they sometimes throw things at you when you come up here, don't you?
You know, I'm glad that he brought this subject up about the stewardship program. And this is just a thought. When we say stewardship, we always think of our wallet, pocket change. But another thing that has been given to us that we should be good stewards of is our time. And when I hear the discussion about how long the service went, or even that it's too long, time is something that we should steward. And I'm a firm believer that an hour and a half is not too long, okay? And sometimes I think we do things because that's the way we always did them. And that is really an old Lutheran philosophy that probably should be brought up, looked at again, and say, maybe we don't have to do things the way that we always did.
Any other comments? You can clap. Praise God. Any other comments or questions for me? Thank you all for sitting here for this meeting. I know we've got one more thing to do, but I am very grateful for those of you that stayed after. And once again, I do value your time. And we all have things to do, but you've shown that this is important, and God bless you, and thank you for that. Thank you for being the congregation that you are. There's no other place I would want to be called to than here. There's no other people I would like to shepherd than you. God bless you. Thank you for that opportunity.
Before we go to elections, I have one announcement to make. In January, we have the Heartbeat Crib. And you know that everybody brings stuff. Well, this year, we raised $6,211 for Heartbeat. Karen? Good. Okay, will somebody pass out the ballots?
Well, before we do that, it occurred to me that you wanted to get up
I'm
and
sorry.
with pictures, and she had pictures of the Girl Scouts that she wanted to show, and I really wanted to show them, but Pastor forgot to do anything with them. So we'll pick another time to do that, okay? All right. I apologize, I'm sorry. All right. That's my confession time.
You want to pass them out, Herb? I can't do them all. Okay, we'll have.
We're going to have to get some help. Help.
Just by way of explanation, while you're looking at these ballots, the people we are voting for, the original chairholders, have termed out. Their term is up, and that's why we're looking for new people according to our Constitution. Poor Ron Jonas here has been termed out how many times, Ron? Serving since 1957? Oh no, that was the Lions. So that's why we're voting in new members.
If there's any nominations for the ballots, I would open for them right now. I'm sorry. Okay. Tim Hill's back cooking? Nick Grimm is right over here. You all know Larry Schubring. And Chris Cates, I think you all know her. So if there is no nomination, Connie? If there's no nominations, we can, yes. If there's no nominations, then I assume the people that are. Tim Hill just came in back there. If there isn't no other nominations for this, then I can make it a suggestion that we accept all the people on the ballot now. By show of hands or something.
I move we do that.
Okay. It all passed. Okay. Thank you. Before we go, should we close with the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil.